Hey guys, it's SRC Reptiles, and today I'm going to be doing a little review for you. So I will throw in there real quick, this is a promotional video. Now, I did not pay for anything, I'm just wanting to make that clear right now. So Grub Terra, which is this company here, reached out to me through email and asked if I'd like to make a review of their black soldier fly larvae, and in return they would send me 500 black soldier fly larvae. Now, I chose the live, there are dried options as well. But I just wanted to make that clear real quick, and I will say that in the top left corner, which it might be you guys is right, I don't know, top left corner, there is going to be a code up there. It's Grub10, and that is for you guys to get 10% off if you decide you want to try these guys out. I did a lot of research on these guys to make sure they were safe and actually legit before I agreed to this, because I've gotten a lot of emails in the past asking me to promote different things, and it was either shady or it had nothing to do with what I do on this channel with reptiles and animals and stuff, so I passed. But these guys, I looked up their website, and I also looked up on Facebook to make sure it was legit, and I also looked on YouTube, and I discovered there's a lot of people that have made videos, so that made me feel a little bit more comfortable to make videos, or make a video about these guys and know it wasn't a scam or anything like that. So I'll go ahead and go over it with you real quick. The bugs are not in here anymore. I'll show you the container that I made for them today. It's hot outside. And speaking of hot, I felt bad for these guys because the mailman, instead of leaving them on my porch, which is in the shade, he stuck them in the mail slot, or in the mailbox that is metal, in the sun. And these guys were 95 degrees because I used my little thermometer deal. And that was way too hot for these poor guys, so I left them in the living room for probably like 30 minutes, because our house is at 72, so they cooled way down, and then I put them into the reptile room, which is 73 to 74 is what it averages in the reptile room. But yeah, I felt bad. I was glad they were still alive because I was so scared. That just goes to show how hardy these guys are, because who knows the temperature of the mail truck as well, and them getting moved around and tossed around throughout the time, because I ordered them, I believe it was a really early Tuesday morning, or it was late Monday evening, because they only ship on Mondays and Tuesdays. So if you're going to make an order, it needs to be on Monday or Tuesday, otherwise you're going to be waiting for a while. Let's say if you order on Wednesday, you're going to be waiting 5 days or something like that. So anyway, let's get to talking a little bit about these guys, and then we're going to do some feeding. So I will say real quick, I looked up, and they are safe to feed crested geckos, leopard geckos, and gargoyle geckos, which is what I personally own. You also can feed these guys to chickens, ducks. There was one guy I watched that was feeding them to quail. And I believe there was somebody, I can't remember what the other waterfowl and or poultry was, I can't remember. Turkeys, I think. I think it was turkeys, possibly. Which makes sense. Turkeys, they love stuff like insects and stuff, obviously. Anyway, I'm going off track. I will say, though, that there's a product for both sides, whether it be poultry or fowl in general, birds, or if it's reptiles. So I thought that was kind of cool. That it is pretty diverse. So these guys came in a container like this. It was pretty secure because I'll show you it has a lot of clicks before it opens up. That's what the container looks like. I will say I do have a few tips for the company themselves. So I really like this box. It's very sturdy. You can squeeze on it. It's not going to break down, get squished, nothing. There was no tape on it, though, to keep it from being opened by anybody. And obviously you have to actually try to get it open because it has these latches on the side that these go into. So yes, someone would have to purposely open it. It's not like it would just accidentally come open, unless they got bumped against something, and then they'd have to close it back like this. But I know it's not that expensive to just add even just one piece of packing tape, or do just one long piece across here. It's not going to make it look any less aesthetically pleasing, because I do like that it's a very simple box. It says Live Insects Fragile on the side, and then it says Grub Terra here on the top, and stuff like that. The other thing that I would suggest, because you can see that this box is pretty decent size compared to this little cup, is maybe just throw some shredded paper in there to add a little bit of cushioning so that the container's not getting thrown around and possibly having the chance of coming open a little bit. Highly doubt that this container would break, because this is one of the nicer thick containers that they ship like reptiles in and stuff. So that's not the concern, not a concern at all, but it could definitely become a concern if it came open and then all of these guys are crawling around in here. Like I said, I like the container, I like the box. I would just suggest, you know, maybe adding some tape onto there so it's a little bit more secure so people aren't tampering with it. And shredded paper is one way that you can also reuse something, because this company is all about reusing and recycling different products, whether it being food items for the insects or it being making sure that they have stuff that can be recycled. So something like shredded paper I think would definitely be doable for this company. Let's go ahead and talk about the company, because I wrote some stuff down so I would not forget. So it is a company that's based in New Jersey, so it is within the United States. I definitely liked that. I will show some pictures of their website and stuff while I'm talking, like around here, so you guys aren't too bored. So the larvae are raised off of local waste that's from restaurants, farmers markets, and supermarkets. So they're reusing items that usually would go in the trash. So that I definitely appreciated. Because a lot of times people just throw stuff away. It is ridiculous how much food just ends up in waste that other people and or, in this case, the insects, could be enjoying. And I know at the grocery store I used to work at, people would actually come in that had guinea pigs, rabbits, larger animals like that. And our produce area would actually just give them huge, large bags of produce we were just going to throw away because it was considered gone bad, even though it still was definitely usable and safe to feed these other animals. So I definitely thought that was cool. On the back here I wrote down they live up to 3 weeks. After 3 weeks you need to feed them to make sure they still are going, which with me I'm going to be feeding them before that 3 weeks is up because I'm not a heartless person. I like to make sure at least once a week that I feed my insects. With the dubias, they got food offered round the clock. They get fresh vegetables as well as just their powdered diet that they get that's like the cricket food that's got calcium and stuff in it. So these guys cannot be put in the refrigerator or the freezer. If they're put in the fridge, they'll pretty much go dormant and or die. And if you put them in the freezer, they're going to die. So don't do that. Just keep them in a dark, warm place because that's what I had wrote down that they suggested. So the founder's name, founder and CEO, I should say, is Michael Servas, or Service. I am sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. I was fascinated with creating a healthy, sustainable feed for animals. And of course, being that this is such a diverse thing that you can feed, whether it be to poultry or waterfowl or reptiles, like that's a pretty broad range. I also have written down here the protein, nutrient content, whatnot. So crude protein, they've got 36%, crude fat, they have 35%, crude fiber is 10%, calcium is between 2 and 5%, and whatever the heck lysine is 1.1%, so I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it. Phosphorus is 0.75. So I also put at the top that food-wise they suggest giving them vegetables and then moist bread. So bread that's not damp. But let's say you keep bread in the refrigerator. It kind of has a moistness to it because it's being kept in the refrigerator. So maybe something like that. And also, I've seen people feed the grubs, or at least on YouTube, meat products. I don't know if I would feed them meat products just because of the fact that what I'm feeding them is eventually going into my reptiles, because what goes into the feeders eventually goes into the reptiles. So I don't know if I would really trust giving them meat products, so I don't think I'd suggest that. So just kind of stick to vegetables and bread, stuff like that. I personally would probably stick to a little bit more like organic, healthier bread versus just, you know, Sara Lee or something like that. So I have here a few, I have here a few prices just to run over with you guys real quick. We're not going to take too much more time just because of the fact that we got to get to the feeding, which is the fun part, to see how the reptiles react. So we'll go over the dried first because that's quick. So they have two options. They've got 1 pound and they've got 5 pounds. So the 1 pound bag is $12.99, which I'll have them on the screen up here as I'm telling you. The 5 pound bag is $34.95. So then we'll go on to the live, and right now you've got medium and large options. They might have, you know, different options later on down the road, like small possibly, but for now it's just medium and large. So for 500, which is what I got, they are normally $13.95. For 1,000 of them, it is $17.95. For 2,000, it is $29.95. For 3,000, it is $39.95, and for 5,000, it is $59.95. So to me, these numbers don't seem too bad because you're getting a crap ton of insects to feed your reptiles. Now, obviously, I picked 500 mediums because, one, I did not want my reptiles to have any trouble eating these guys. I've never seen black soldier fly larvae like in person before. I've seen them on websites and in videos, but that really doesn't tell you how big they are when you're holding them in your hand. So I did medium, but I could have done large if I wanted to, but I didn't want to mess with that. Also, I only did 500. I don't know if they were going to allow a larger quantity. They didn't say, and I didn't ask. But obviously, I've already got a lot of dubias on hand, so I was like, the lowest amount possible will do, because 500 is going to last a while. So anyway, those prices to me did not seem too bad. If I remember correctly, I think shipping's around $5 to $7. I'll put it on the screen after I look that up and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get to the feeding part, but I'll show you real quick the container that I made for them. So, because I felt bad, because, you know, this tiny little cup really doesn't offer very much space for them, I have this large container here that I covered the outside with purple duct tape so that it would offer a dark habitat for them, which I'll flip it around and show you in a second. So I used my solder iron to make holes in the side, and then I made sure to get a secured one so it's got a lock on each side. This is actually a Tupperware container I got from Walmart. I think it was $5. So very cheap, and it's a really nice thick plastic, which if I take this off, I can kind of show you about how thick this plastic is. It's about probably ½ an inch if I had to. Well, the lid itself, the plastic on here is a lot thinner than ½ an inch, but it's still a really nice container because I wanted to make sure and get something that would give them a little bit more space. So I also read online that they can be kept in cocoa fiber, which works perfect because with my Crested Geckos I already got cocoa fiber on hand. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to the fun part, which is the feeding, and like I said, I'll flip the camera around so I can show you guys the grubs real quick. Or not grubs, the black soldier fly larvae, aka maggots. Just to warn you guys, if you don't like maggots, just skip this part, and I'll put up here in the corner where to go to once we get to the feeding part. Because the feeding part probably won't be as bad because I'm going to be holding them with tweezers versus you just seeing a whole bunch of maggots in here. So, you know, it's up to you guys if you want to watch it or not, me showing these. So, like I said, I'll put it up here and you can skip or you can watch. Okay, so I'm going to show you the different guys in here. We'll go ahead and pick one up. So this is what they look like here. And this is kind of the larger of the ones in here, so you can kind of see them moving around. And now that they're all kind of spread out, it doesn't look like there's a bunch, but there is a lot in here. And it's nice because some of them are smaller, and then some of them are larger. And whenever I do go to add food in here, I can do a video just to show you guys what they look like eating and stuff, because I think that'd be kind of cool doing a time lapse. But yeah, so these guys are definitely healthy. They're moving around real well. And I will be adding a little bit more bedding in here. I wasn't really sure how much to add because I was reading you want them in a secure container so they can't escape. But I definitely think I could probably add another ½ inch of bedding and it still wouldn't be close to the lid. That way it gives them a little bit more depth to burrow into. Because I know that these guys like to dig and kind of stay burrowed under the soil and stuff. So anyway, we'll go ahead and offer some to reptiles. So it'll be fun. Okay, so real quick, I don't remember if I told you guys, but I now have a window unit for this room because this thing broke down. So that's nice. Thankfully, my dad was able to find this one at Sam's for like $130, and it's pretty nice. It's very simplistic, but it works. It does its job. Also, it's nice because this part here moves up and down, and then you can move the direction of the airflow, which mine in my bedroom can't do. So anyway, as you can see, we've got a lot of test subjects. We'll try with these 4 of the not yet yearlings, but they're older, like 6 to 8 months. And then these guys here are all the yearlings, and then of course we've got all the adults. We will first try with the leopard gecko and the gargoyle because those guys love insects. So we'll go ahead and mosey on over there, and we'll see what they think. Okay, so I'm going to get my leopard gecko out of his hide. I'm going to wake him up. So he's chilling over here. So let's see what he thinks. I don't think that there's going to be an issue. I think he's going to like him because he's crazy over bugs. Yeah, no surprise. He obviously likes them. I got 5 of them out, but not to give just to him. So we'll see how easy he has when it comes to chewing it. So it looks like he did an okay job, so we'll give him a second one. Yep, there he goes. He sees it. Yeah, so I'm going to say he's definitely going to be one of the ones that will enjoy the black soldier fly larvae. So I'm probably going to put his hide back here in a second. We'll see. Hey buddy, I just need to get your hide back over here. There we go. Oh, luckily there's a gap there because his tail was under there. Okay. So next we'll find my gargoyle and get her out and see what she thinks. Okay, so Vesper's currently fired down. You guys don't really get to see her this color very often. So let's go ahead. Whoop. Okay, he rolled off of my leg there. I didn't think that was probably going to work very well. Okay, so I'm going to sit him right here. And then we'll get you looking this direction. Look. There's a bug. Most of the time I kind of have to break the skin of stuff just for her to be interested in eating it. So let me try doing that real quick. Okay, so let me see what she thinks now. Oh, she licked it. I'm going to try to put it in her mouth a little bit and see if she'll chew it. Yeah, there she goes. With the younger ones, I've found they really don't want to try new things unless you remove the heads of the things. So she scarfed that down really quick though. I don't even think she chewed it. So I'm going to try to offer her a second one now and see what she does. Like to kill it real quick or something like that. Oh. Hey, look. How about now? Oh. Yeah, you like it now, don't you? You're a weirdo. That time she actually bit at it. I guess from this angle you can actually see her face at least. Well, that's a yes from the gargoyle and from the leopard geckos, so now we'll go on to the crested geckos and see what they think. Okay guys, so here's Ember. She'll be the first, and we'll see what she thinks. Okay, now let's see what she does. Everybody's not really wanting to cooperate very much today. Oop. There she goes. Now she's eating it. Seems that it helped by kind of squeezing on the head and the body of the black soldier fly. So I'm not going to give each of them 2 just because I have 21 crested geckos to go through, and we're not going to see all 21. But that's still a lot. So there's Ember. We're going to go ahead and go to Magma next. Magma really loves bugs. We might skip a few geckos just because some of them don't care for insects yet when it comes to the older babies. So we'll probably just do the adults and a few of the older babies and call it good. Okay, so Mr. Magma is up next. I don't know if he'll need to have it cut on or squeezed on or something, anything like that, just because he normally really likes bugs. So we'll see what he does. He's not acting too interested. Like, he sees it because I can tell that he's watching it, but he doesn't seem to be completely interested. We might just have to do the thing where we just squeeze the head of the maggots with all of them. I don't think he's going to give me any trouble because he normally always eats bugs. I think them being fuzzy is kind of a texture thing that he doesn't seem to be caring for very much. Oh, but there he goes. He's got it now. Yeah, the whole fuzzy thing seems to be something they'll probably have to get used to. Because I don't think I've fed anything before to them that's got fuzz. Kind of like little hairs and stuff. Now, Magma is one of my weirdos. He does not like certain textures at all. Like when I used to feed the Fruit and Insects Pangea brand to him, he would spit out the little chunks of insect that were in there because he did not like that texture. So when I switched him over to watermelon, he loves that now and he does really good on it because it's a very smooth food and it's not got any chunks in it. But yeah, he's funny. He doesn't like certain textures, so he's one of my geckos that's very comical because he reminds me a lot of a person. So anyway, we'll move on to Blaze now. Okay, so here's Blaze. She recently, 3 or 4 days ago, laid some eggs. So if she kind of looks a little skinny, that's why. She's normally not ever like skinny to begin with, but she just looks a little bit more thin than she normally is, so I just wanted to put that out there. So I went ahead and just preemptively squeezed the head this time, and we'll see what she thinks. Oop. I'm just going to kind of hold it a little bit because I don't want it to roll onto the floor. So she seems so far to be the most interested out of the Crested Geckos. She is taking little bites out of it and licking it and tasting it and stuff, unlike with Ember and Magma, where it was just kind of like... Well, actually, I guess she's kind of being a little picky with the whole hair thing. Yeah, she doesn't seem to like... Like, she seems to like the whole, like, flavor thing, but she doesn't seem to like the whole texture. Now, she does look like she's possibly eating it now. Yeah. Looks like she's got it in her mouth. She was at least the most interested right away. Like, she started licking the air and tasting it right away. As with the others, they just kind of would just taste it a little bit. Magma, of course, I already knew was going to be kind of picky, but at least she finally got it. We'll go ahead and put her up, and we'll go on to Snickers or Mischief, whichever I can find first. Okay, so we've got Mischief here. So I'm noticing that he's licking it, but he's not actually trying to eat it. So at least he is showing interest. But I'm going to go ahead and just crush the head here so that he will hopefully be a little bit more interested in actually eating it. Oh, okay, that seems to have helped. I think that it probably smells a little bit more appealing now. Now he's just trying to figure out how he's going to eat it. I think I'll go ahead and hold it so it can help him a little bit. I think the whole fuzzy thing is throwing him off a little bit, but he still is interested in it and he wants it, but it's just different, so of course none of mine have ever been fed black soldier fly larvae, so it's a new thing for all of them, and I think some of them are just unsure about the fur, the little fuzzy hairs. But he was definitely showing the most interest without me having to do anything. It was just, he wasn't wanting to actually, you know, bite it without me kind of chomping on it with the tweezers. Okay guys, so here's Snickers, and she's the one I call my heckin' chunk. And she's not even that heavy, but for her size of her body and stuff, she is now on a diet because she's starting to get these fat rolls down here. And she's not even that heavy, like for her, or whoop, my phone's doing weird things. For her, like, she's at, I believe, 68 grams, so she's almost 70 grams, so she's about the same size as Ember. But she definitely is a lot more fat-looking than Ember, so, I'm gonna set this here. We'll see what she does. She normally also likes insects, so we'll see if she shows any interest in trying to actually catch this one. Oh, okay, I guess the juice from them smells good, because that immediately made her pay attention. she definitely acts... Oh, yep, she picked it up. She acts interested in it for sure. Oh, did she get it? Yeah, she got it by herself. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Snickers really enjoys insects. She absolutely goes bonkers for dubia roaches. And of course, dubia roaches, you can just pull the head off and there's all the juices and stuff right there, so... But yeah, she had that thing gone in like 2 seconds. So we'll go ahead and move on to Indigo and see what she thinks. Okay, so here is Indigo, so we'll go ahead and see what she thinks. Still have yet to have one that's, you know, attacked the insect without me having to kill it first. And just squeeze on it and do that, and see what she thinks now. Okay, so as you see, she took it from me, so at least it looks like she does like it. She definitely was licking the air a lot and licking the insect once I finally squished it. So these guys must not really have a scent they give off. Because most of the time, my geckos will like kind of launch themselves at dubia roaches or crickets even. And I normally don't keep crickets anymore just because they're very stinky and they die really quickly. But even with being fed food and stuff, that's where my dubias stay alive really well. But, these guys must not have a scent to them that they really, you know, recognize as, hey, that's food, or, you know, she didn't really act like the texture was a thing with her, so at least once I, you know, squished the head and stuff, she seemed to really like that. So we'll go ahead and get on to some of the younger babies, because that's all of the adults, and we'll see what they think. Okay, guys, so we got all of the ones down that we're going to be trying it with. And I feel dumb because I forgot Twix. So Twix can go first. Ugh. So I've got my, sitting in a circle now of geckos. I got my charger plugged in because my phone was like, nah, I don't want to live. So anyway, I'm going to get Twix out real quick and we'll see what he thinks. Most of the time he's kind of iffy. He even is kind of sketchy when it comes to eating dubia roaches. So I wouldn't be surprised if he don't care for him, but we'll see. Okay, so here's Twix. I'm going to sit this down and we'll see what he does. And I'm curious to see if he's going to try to... Whoop! And it just rolled off into the container. We'll see what he does. There he goes. You can definitely tell that he's a little bit more cautious and he's not really sure about it, but he's eating it anyway. Yeah. See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Yeah. So that's Twix. We'll go ahead and get him put back in his little container. And then we'll see what the babies think. So Peep and Jericho, guaranteed they'll probably eat it because they both love bugs. These are the two that I can guarantee will probably eat them. So get in here, and I'm going to pause this real quick and we'll come back when I've actually got him out. Okay, so here's Peep. He normally is always on the move. Hey, stay. You can see that he's getting very nice with it when it comes to the color of his body. He's a really pretty orange rust color. So let's see, I'm going to pick this one here. And with these, I'm not even going to try to let them, like, see them crawl around. I'm just going to go ahead and squish them right off the bat. Whoops! Okay, it doesn't help that they're almost the same color as my carpet. Okay, so, hey, look. Oh, okay, it wasn't even a question with him. I'm not surprised. He goes absolutely psycho for the dubia roaches, so that's definitely a yes for Peep. He really likes his bugs. Okay, so here's Jericho. Let's see if he'll get off my hand for me. Okay, so Jericho also absolutely loves insects, so we'll see what he thinks. Okay. Oh. You gotta aim for the bug there, buddy. Oh, there you go. So the two geckos that you just saw, this one of course is Jericho and Peep. So Jericho is older than Peep by like a week or a week and a half, something like that. And he is half the size of Peep, but he has been gaining grams really well, gaining weight. So at least he is gaining, and he's just growing a little bit slower because he had a smaller start to life. He probably wasn't being hand-fed, and he was probably just having food offered in his tank. So he doesn't eat very much compared to the others. So, but at least with giving him insects, that's going to definitely boost his growth so that he can catch up with other geckos that are his age. Okay, so this is Pumpkin. Pumpkin normally likes bugs, so we'll see what Pumpkin does. Oh, okay, yeah, it wasn't even a question. Pumpkin was like, yes, please. It's funny that the geckos that I'm planning on keeping as holdbacks seem to be the ones that like insects, and then the ones that I'm not holding seem to be the ones that don't care for the bugs. It's very strange. But anyway, this is Pumpkin. He is an extreme harlequin with white portholes, as you can see. And then he's got pin dashing, which is just when there's little spots of pin in this area, as you can see here. And then he's got a little bit of crest pinning going on as well, but nothing too crazy. So anyway, that is Pumpkin. Okay guys, so we're back in the kitchen after feeding the reptiles. It was a pretty good amount of them that liked them. So obviously we had the leopard gecko and my gargoyle that both liked them. And then we had the 7 adults that enjoyed them. And then we had the 3 babies, I believe it was. Because we had Jericho, Peep, and Pumpkin that all ate on the larvae. So that was 11 geckos in total when it comes to the crested geckos. And then we had the gargoyle and the leopard geckos. So that was a pretty good amount. Now obviously we didn't offer them to all of the geckos because there are 5 that are still 3 months and younger that I'm not personally going to offer them to yet because they're not large enough. And I'd just be worried about them digesting the exoskeleton properly and stuff at that age. Now, if they came out with smalls, where they were really tiny, then I think I'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable offering them to the very small babies. But it's not really a necessity. At that age, you're still just wanting to feed the diet, and you're not really wanting to offer insects unless you've got a small baby that you need to boost in order to help it grow. I think that for $14 for 500 of them, I think that's a pretty good deal. Even if you had a huge amount of reptiles that required having insects a lot, like say bearded dragons, where their diet is consistently, you know, let's say 75% of the vegetables and 25% of the insects when you've got an adult. Obviously you want to feed more insects when they're babies versus the salad because you're wanting to boost their growth and stuff, or at least that's what I read when I was, you know, looking into getting them, which I changed my mind. Anyway, I would definitely suggest them. I appreciate Grub Terra reaching out to me and actually offering me the opportunity to not only promote them, but to try out their product. And most likely, as long with dubia roaches, I'm probably going to just start feeding these guys as another offered insect for their diet, especially to like my breeder females, being that they contain that decent amount of calcium in the body. And of course in the exoskeleton they also have the calcium. But that's definitely going to be a nice little boost because that will definitely help them with their egg production. Now they already do get calcium offered in their food once a week, like a liquid calcium, or if they're getting their multivitamins that week, the multivitamins also do have a little bit of calcium in there. But it's nice to have an insect like that that also will offer a little extra calcium as a snack, and you can go along with the food. So anyway guys, I definitely would suggest Grub Terra. Go ahead and check them out if you'd like to, and like I said, the coupon code that's up here in the corner you guys can use to get 10% off. I think shipping was only like $5 or $6 or something like that. And like I said, for Grub Terra, I definitely would suggest putting tape over this end of the box and adding maybe some shredded paper or something in there to offer some kind of support to keep this from moving around all over the place. And this is quite a tall box as well compared to this, so there's a lot of room for it to move all over the place. So just a couple things to improve on. Otherwise, I think you guys are doing good. These showed up all alive. I didn't have any that came dead. They all were moving around and very healthy for being in a mailbox for probably an hour in 95-degree temperatures and stuff like that. So I think that it was a pretty good product, and I would definitely suggest it, and this is an honest opinion. Obviously, they're not paying me to tell you guys this, and I obviously only tried them out because I knew that they were a safe thing that I could test with my reptiles and know that it's not going to be harmful for them. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was really long. It's probably the longest video I've actually done on my channel in a while. But I wanted to cover everything, and I also wanted to show you guys my reptiles personally eating them or personally not liking them and different things like that, pointing out how a lot of them didn't care for that texture of the hairs being on the grubs or on the maggots. So aside from that, once I was able to get a little bit of the juices from the inside to come out by squishing the head with the tweezers, almost all of the ones that were actually going to eat the bugs, all the adults then showed interest. I know that one of the babies, I think it was Jericho and Peep, they they snatched those ones up real quick. I definitely remember that. And of course my leopard gecko liked it. Like I said, guys, like and subscribe if you'd like to support the channel. It always encourages me to make more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you again to Grub Terra for sending me some black soldier fly larvae to try out. And I definitely enjoyed getting to review these and getting to make a video to help support a company that I definitely think will grow a lot in the future. So thank you a lot, guys, and have a good rest of your day.